Hi, I'm Doug.
And I'm Tom.
And today we're going to be working on the headlight on this 91 Firebird. It's a flip-up style light, and unfortunately it started fluttering instead of locking in place, so we have to get out every time and lock it in place manually. It's kind of a safety concern and it'll probably end up getting us a ticket, so it's time we dig in and get that taken care of.
So we've run into some interesting things on this one. You're supposed to be able to turn a knob on the top of the motor and lock the headlight up manually, but that doesn't seem to work on either side. And then we had a choice either to pull just the whole motor assembly and replace the whole motor assembly, or to pull the motor, which seems to be working fine, and just replace the gear. We chose to do the gear. We'll see how it goes.
So let's dig into this old bird and see what's up.
Okay, so because this headlight would not come up when we twist this knob, what we had to do is flip the headlights up with the battery connected, get them into position, and then disconnect the battery so the headlights go out and we're not running the battery down. So now the first thing we want to do is we're going to take this little shield that's on the side here. It's out of plastic and it has 4 Torx T15 screws, 2 on each side, holding it in. So we're going to remove those screws and then pull this shroud off of here. There we go. Okay, now we're going to check and see. We can see right here we have a connection to the arm that's actuated by the motor, and that's the linkage that puts the headlight up. And then down here is one of the bolts that holds it in. I think there are 3. There's another one down here, and we'll have to sneak around a little bit and see where we can find the other one. So right here is our plug with the power to the motor. So it's just got the tab. We just push it down, it comes off. This one came off real easy. Okay, now we're going to get our 10mm and see what we can do about taking the retaining bolts off of here, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so we're going to take the top one off here, and that's not on particularly tight, so broke it loose. And okay, we don't really have the clearance there to pull it out, so it's loose, so we'll leave it like that for now. And now the next one is down below here, which may be a little difficult to get on. And that one's pretty loose too.
Yeah, I've gotten on those. I was attempting to disconnect it before and I just could not get the clearance. I know those couple there, they're not at all seized.
Well, that's why I know some people take the whole headlight out. I was going to see if we could do it without taking the whole light out, but maybe not.
Yeah, it's really tight clearance in there. The couple times I got in there and tried looking at it, see if I could pull that, because I wanted to initially just try to replace the whole electric motor, but the price can go kind of crazy with those. Sometimes you can get them from Dorman pretty cheap. Other times they want an arm and a leg. So doing the gear can be a big cash saver.
Okay, so someplace we've got one more Oh, I see it, way down there. It's way down right there. So we got to get that guy out of there. So maybe that's why they take the headlight out, because then the whole assembly comes out and you can get at it. Well, let's see if I can get my hand down there.
You got a better chance getting your hand down there than me. Don't hurt yourself.
I got about, well, actually, no, it's not working so good.
So the reason that I can't get a good angle while Tom's working on it is this is that little bolt right in there. And it's kind of messed up because you can't really see it. Sorry with the focus there. Can't really see it from any other angle. So I had to get in under here to even try to get enough light in at it. You can see it right in that corner.
Okay, because we're just some backyard mechanics without all our tools here, we decided we're going to take the headlight out so we can get better access to the motor. And so there were two 10mm bolts down below, so we got those out, and now we have one here and one here, and we're going to take those out.
You want to point those out again? I was looking at that. Yeah.
Right here and right here, and the whole assembly should pick up, and then we should be able to access the side here to get that headlight motor off. Okay, so we pulled the bolt out of here and the bolt out of here. Let's see if this will pick out of here. Oh my goodness, it does. We have to disconnect the headlight. Well, they made that easy. There. Okay, there we go. Now, we can put this on the bench, and we should have okay, so we got these two here. We got to disconnect. This has got to come off of here, which may be because there's a flat spot on the shaft here, so it's got to line up right. Okay, let's see, maybe, where's the, it's this one right here. Get my 10mm. Okay, so this middle one is shorter, so we have to remember that. So the short one goes in the middle. Okay, there. Now,
just got to wrestle that little guy out there.
yeah.
It has still got some bite. Do we need to just unscrew it through there? Or?
No,
That's not threaded, is it?
No, it's just forced on there. Pretty sure. So we'll just Yeah, it's coming, it looks like. Try to do it without bending anything. There. Okay, we got it. Now, we have to take these screws off of here, and this top pulls off, and that little gear we were talking about is inside there, and this whole shaft, I believe, comes out through there too. There's one. Two. Three. And this should pry off.
There's going to be a gasket and it might be glued together. So
Yeah.
there's a waterproof gasket there. So we may need to, and I got some 3M gasket, little name drop.
There was a gasket that came with it too.
Oh,
I
excellent.
might need a thinner, there.
There we go, popped.
Everything came off pretty easy. I wonder if this wasn't a part once before.
I'll be curious to see if they flip the gear over. A common remedy for this problem, because only half of this sprocket gets used, is oftentimes people will flip it. So the teeth that are not stripped will go against that corkscrew gear in there.
Okay, so then we have washers that must stabilize the shaft back and forth, and so we've got two washers on the middle up here, so those will have to go on the short side of the shaft here. And then this is supposed to come out of here. There we go.
And it looks like we got one set of teeth that doesn't look too stripped. So that's probably the side of the sprocket that didn't touch the gear.
That's something. Oh no, that's our worm gear.
No.
Okay, and then we have. Okay, we've got a washer here. Okay, so we've got one washer here that goes on this end. And this gear actually looks fine, but there are some little round pieces.
It was catching partially. That's the thing, is it was able to lift it most of the way. So the damage is probably...
These little things apparently wear out, if you can see those in there. So we'll get those out, but we have to get the gear off of here. Okay. Look at all that dust.
Wow.
So the problem
They
was,
just degraded.
yeah, those spacers disintegrated in there.
So it wasn't even the stripped gear necessarily.
No.
In this instance, it was these little spacers. Look at that.
That must keep the gear centered or something. I'm not sure exactly what it does, but they have to be in there.
Okay. That would explain why it was, as far as a stripped gear, it was kind of odd that it would have been able to lift it the way that it was.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so we've got those three. Like that. And then this washer goes on the bottom down here. And then we'll put some grease on the worm gear and on here. And then the shaft goes back through here like this. So we're going to get some solvent and just clean this up a little bit. And we'll be right back with you. Okay, so we use our grease and wax remover here from Duplicolor. Normally we use that for cleaning the body for painting, but it works good for this. And so we cleaned off our shaft here. There's just a very minor little wear on the shaft. And we've got our new gear here. We cleaned our top piece, and then we have our gasket that will fit, our new gasket that fits on the top piece here. And we have our washers. So we have 3 washers that were on the top, so we're going to replace it just like it was on the top of the shaft here. And then we had 1 washer that was down here, and you can see we cleaned the housing here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to grease our gear here, our worm gear. We're going to put a little bit of grease on here, and we're going to put some grease on here and put our little spacers on there, and hopefully it'll hold it in place while we put this over it. So that black powder that came out here, that were these plastic spacers that were completely disintegrated in here. And from what we can tell, that must have been the problem. Okay, so let's start with the grease. Now, the grease I'm using, and the only reason I'm using this is because I've used it before, and it's actually plumber's grease, but it does resist high temperatures, and it's waterproof, and it comes in a nice easy tube to use. So that's the reason. So we get our worm gear here, and we're going to just get a light coat on the outside of this. And that'll work its way around too. Then I'm going to put grease in each of these, and hopefully maybe a little bit more. It'll keep those in place while we slide it all together. That. Then we're going to grease the shaft ever so slightly. Okay, so then we have to position this to go over here. This will be interesting. It's not really. Okay, let's do a rerun on that one. Maybe we got to go the other way.
Yeah, are those nylon pieces, are those hollow?
They feel like they're hollow, but they could be.
They could be beveled a little bit.
Yeah, you know, that's a good thing to check for too, is to see if one side is beveled to slide on there. Okay, well,
I didn't think about it because they didn't look that way, but that would make sense. I could see them doing that.
well, let's take them out and take a look at them. No, they seem to be the same.
Okay. It probably just really needs to be pressed in there.
That could be.
I hate to force something, but if we get it lined up, we might need to just slowly press it together using a vise.
There we go.
There it is.
Holy buckets.
I just had to get it aligned.
I guess so. I think that's it right there. Okay, then we have our one washer. It goes on here. And this goes in here. Or so we thought. Well, that had a seal on it. There. Okay. And then we had these guys on here. Okay. There we go. You could feel it go into place. Okay. Okay. Now the trick will be our shaft. Getting our shaft lined up. Normally electric motor. Okay. Let me just see. We're a little bit off there. Let's see if we can turn that. Of course not. Yeah, we're gonna be, maybe I gotta loosen it up and reposition it. So it's at the right, see what I'm saying here, Doug?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess we can do it that way. But I don't know how this determines how it cycles all the way up and all the way down. Okay, so when we're going to line this up, the slots on our receptacle here and the shaft weren't lining up quite, and I went to turn this, and before, when it was on the car, you know, we couldn't adjust the light up or down with the knob. Well, now, as you can see, the knob works when we put in the new gear with those new spacers, so then we can adjust it so that our slots line up to get in the receptacle. So now we're going to attach the motor back to the housing, and remember the middle one was the shorter one, so we'll try that one in here. There we go. I just can't. Well, I don't know. I'm trying to adjust that. I thought we had it. Oh, I see.
Get a little more handheld there.
Okay, we should be able to tighten that. It doesn't look like it lined up straight. Let's see if it pushes on easy. We have that. So I marked, before I took this apart, that how they should line up when we put it back together. So this will come over and up right about there. So we'll get the final adjustment in a minute. And then this one you can see I marked right in there. Okay. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that's pretty close. That's close. Okay, we're good here. Okay, then we'll put the two bottom ones in and we'll really snug it all up.
There's not really great.
Okay, that one's started. Let's see if we can get the other one started. I have to go this way, I think. It's way over there. It was nice of them just to leave just enough room to get an arm in there.
Yeah, your arm.
Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to try it before we put our shroud back on in case something doesn't work. We've still got our access. So we're going to hook up the battery. So we're in the testing stage. So like I said, we left the shroud off. So in case anything went wrong, we had access to it. So we hooked up the battery and our lights came on. Now I'm going to go turn the lights off and see if they cycle down. And they cycle down. Now we're going to turn them on and see if they come up and lock in place. And they do. Mission accomplished.
Looks like this one's gonna need some attention. So
'Cause this one makes noise when it's cycling down, and we're thinking that's the same 3.
see, open those up again, turn those on and close them so that they can see that little piece spinning there.
Oh.
That's the electric motor going. So that's, it's not getting the resistance. Go ahead and drop it again for me, Dad. See, it'll keep going because it's actually trying to feel for resistance from the gear. So this one, there's enough friction that it's able to lift the headlight. Tom, can you do this for me one more time just so that I can get this on camera? Now we're going over to the one that we just replaced. Let me get in some light here. There we go. Tom, go ahead and turn the headlights on. Notice when it locks, that spinning part locks into place. And the other one is still continuing to spin. That's that noise that you're hearing. So go ahead and drop the headlight. You see that stopped, and this one is still going.
But it will shut off.
Yeah, so that headlight's working, but that's a surefire sign that it's probably got the same problem. Now, this is interesting because when we were researching this, we were told that that little corkscrew worm gear and the actual sprocket were the parts that would strip out, not those little inserts. So that was something that we weren't expecting digging into this. But now we got an idea, and so if you have an F-body and you're seeing or you're hearing those little motors go after you've activated and deactivated the headlights, that's probably a good indicator that you're having the same problem that we were having. So you got to get another gear, but I'll tell you that gear you said that was 16 bucks or so online?
Yeah, I think I got it off of Amazon or eBay, and it was 16 bucks, and it came with the spacers and the gasket. And obviously it worked perfect, so we didn't have to do the whole motor. Just takes a little bit more time. And then we'll do the same thing on this side. So what happens is it clicks after it hits the end of the cycle, but it will cycle out after about 5 seconds or 10 seconds and then just reset itself.
Okay, so I guess we're just on a ticking time bomb with this one, but good that we know what we're looking for, because heck, you could hear that noise, and if you didn't know what that was, you'd never know that your headlight was starting to wear out. Yeah, we're just on the clock. So good to know. A lot cheaper than buying a whole new motor. All right, well that was fun. A little bit unexpected as far as having those nylon spacers be what degraded in that gear, but we got through it.
Yeah, and if you have the right tools, which we didn't have all the right tools, it makes the job easier, but we had fun doing it together, and that's our whole point here. So
I will say, make sure that you're ready to get light everywhere. That was kind of tough getting in there in that headlight well. So make sure that you're ready with some kind of magnetic light or something if you're going to be working on this project, because you're going to want to be able to get in there and see. But thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
thank you.